All right, today we're going to be starting Unit 1 called Arithmetic and Geometric Sequences. We're going to be completing the guided notes pages 1 and 2 today, and then you're going to complete page 3 as your worksheet. So starting on page 1, we're going to define arithmetic sequence. So it is a sequence in which the difference between any two consecutive numbers or not numbers, terms is constant. So a sequence in which the difference between any two consecutive terms is constant. That is an arithmetic sequence. So the common difference is the numerical difference and we call it D between any two consecutive terms. All right, so now we're going to be identifying an arithmetic sequence. So an arithmetic sequence, we already defined it, okay? But just kind of an overview, it's any sequence that's either adding or subtracting by the same number each time, not multiplying and dividing, okay? That's something that we're going to talk about later in this unit. So we're looking for sequences that are adding or subtracting by the same number each time. So looking at number 1, we have 1, 5, 9, 13, which if you look for that pattern, we're adding 4 every time. So yes, this is an arithmetic sequence, and then our common difference is going to be a positive 4 because we're adding 4 every time. All right, number 2, we have 1, 3, 5, and 8. So to get from 1 to 3, I add 2. To get from 3 to 5, I add 2. To get from 5 to 8, I add 3. So since this one, we're not adding by 2, the number changed, that makes this not an arithmetic sequence. All right, number 3, 8, 6, 4, 2. So we're subtracting 2, subtracting 2, and subtracting 2. So yes, this is an arithmetic sequence, and our common difference is going to be a negative 2 because we are subtracting by 2 every time. All right, number 4, negative 5, negative 8, negative 11, negative 14. So since they're negative numbers, we are subtracting by 3 every time. It looks like our numbers are getting bigger, but since they're negative, we're actually subtracting, not adding. So this would be an arithmetic sequence, and our difference would be a negative 3. All right, 5, 10, 20, 40. So to get from 5 to 10, I'm adding 5. To get from 5 to 20, I'm adding 10. Then I'm adding 20. So that is not adding or subtracting by the same number, so this is not an arithmetic sequence. All right, number 6, we have 7, 6, 5, 4. So we are subtracting by 1 every time, so yes, this is an arithmetic sequence, and our common difference would be 1. All right. Now we are going to continue the arithmetic sequence. So we're going to be finding the next 3 terms of all of these sequences. So number 7, 9, 13, 17, 21. Okay, so if you find the pattern, we are adding by 4 every time. So to get my next term, I'm going to do 21 plus 4, which is 25. 25 plus 4, which is 29. 29 plus 4, which is 33. All right, number 8, we have 5, 2, negative 1, negative 4. So for this one, we're subtracting 3 every time. So negative 4 minus 3 is negative 7. Negative 7 minus 3 is negative 10. And negative 10 minus 3 is negative 13. Number 9, we have negative 8, negative 2, 4, and 10. So to find the pattern here, okay, we're adding 6 every time. So my next term would be 16. Then I'm going to add 6 to that and get 22. Then I'm going to add 6 to that and get 28. All right, so those are just some basic things that are questions I can ask you so that you can find the next term, okay? But finding the next 3 terms is really easy because we're just adding or subtracting by a number. But what if I told you to find the 55th term of that sequence? Now, if you had to sit there and add 6 55 times, okay, you might do the math wrong and get lost somewhere, and that's going to take a lot of time. So we have an arithmetic sequence formula, and this is to help us find the nth term of the sequence. Okay, so I want you to find the 1,000th term of the sequence, and if you have this formula, then you are able to find that term without sitting there and counting out 1,000 terms of that sequence. So the formula is AN equals A1 plus D parentheses N minus 1. All right, D is our common difference. And A1 is the first term of that sequence. All right, so let's look at some examples. So number 10, they want us to write the rule for the nth term, find, and then we're going to find A19. So we're going to find the formula and then find the 19th term. So we have 7, 13, 19, 25. So if you look here, we are adding 6 every time. So that means my common difference is going to be 6. And then my first term is just the first term in the sequence, which is going to be 7. All right, you just look at the beginning of the sequence and whatever number comes first, that's your first term. So now we have our 2 pieces of information to make the formula. So I'm going to write the formula down. And now I'm going to put 6 in for D, and I'm going to put 7 in for A1. So this would be our arithmetic sequence formula for this sequence. So now we want to find the 19th term of the sequence. So I'm going to change all of the n values to 19. Oops. So my n is going to become 19. So in my formula, this n is going to become 19 as well. So now you're going to take this and you're going to plug it into your calculator just like you see it. So you'll have 7 plus 6 parentheses 19 minus 1. And that's going to end up giving us 115. So that would be the 19th term of the sequence. All right, let's do number 11. We have 30, 26, 22, and 18. So if you look, we're subtracting 4 every time. So that means my D value is going to be negative 4. And then my A1 value is whatever comes first in this sequence, which is 30. So I'm going to make my formula. I'm going to plug in negative 4 for D, and I'm going to plug 30 in for A. So AN equals 30 plus negative 4, parentheses, n minus 1. All right, now we want to find the 19th term. So all of my n's are going to change to the number 19. And then I'm going to plug that in my calculator. And that's going to give me negative 42. All right, let's look at page 2. All right, so we have negative 11, negative 8, negative 5, negative 2. So this time, we are adding 3 every time. So my common difference is going to be 3. And then my first term is going to be negative 11. So I'm going to plug 3 in for D, and I'm going to plug negative 11 in for A1. So there's our arithmetic sequence formula. Now I want to find the 19th term still. So wherever there's an N, I'm going to plug in the number 19. I'm going to type that in my calculator, and it's going to give me 43. All right, number 13, negative 2, 0, 2, 4. So this time, we're adding 2 every time. So my common difference is going to be positive 2. And the first term of the sequence is negative 2. So I'm going to plug in negative 2 for A1, and I'm going to plug in 2 for D. Then I'm trying to find the 19th term. So wherever there's an N, I'm going to put the number 19. And when I type that in my calculator, that's going to give me 34. All right, so I want you to pause the video here and do 14 and 15 by yourself. All right, so those are your answers for 14 and 15. Make sure you check your work, and then if you got it wrong, go back and look at what I did to see if that may help you. Now we're going to look at number 16 and 17. These are word problems, application problems. It's really good for you to get comfortable with word problems because you're going to take the ACT next year, and there's a lot of word problems in the math section. So you just need to learn to get comfortable with them. Number 16, you visit the Grand Canyon and drop a penny off the edge of a cliff. The distance the penny will fall is 16 feet the first second, 48 feet the next second, and 80 feet the third second. So that's our sequence right there, 16, 48, 80. So we want to write the formula to represent this sequence. So first we have to find the common difference. So I need to figure out how many I have to add to get from 16 to 48, which is 32. So I'm adding 32 there. Then to get from 48 to 80, I'm also adding 32. So my common difference is going to be 32, and my first term is 16. So now I'm going to write the formula. So AN equals A1 plus D parentheses n minus 1. My A1 is 16, and my D is 32. So now this is our formula for the sequence. So part B, how far will the penny travel after 6 seconds? So that is the nth term I want to find. So I'm going to do A6 equals 16 plus 32 parentheses 6 minus 1. I'm going to type that in my calculator, and I get 186 276 feet, because it was talking about falling in feet in the problem. All right, let's do 17. The total bank loan for Sarah's new car is $15,265. The bank automatically withdraws $295.80 each month to pay off the car. Write a formula to represent this sequence. So they don't give us how much she's going to owe every single month. Okay, they give us the first term. So to start out, this is the loan for her car. And then they tell us how much they're taking out every month, which is our common difference. They're subtracting $295.80 from that car loan every month. So now we have our A and our D. So now I'm going to make the formula for this sequence. So we'll have AN equals $15,265 plus negative $295.80 n minus 1. So there's our formula. And we want to find the balance after 2 years. So the problem is talking about months. All right, so the problem's talking about months, so that's a total of 24 months. So I want to find A24. And I'm going to type this long problem into my calculator. And that gives me $8,461.60. All right, so that concludes the notes for arithmetic sequences.